Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgioni, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Latta, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Stone, Vidak, Wykowski, Wolk.
The Secretary notices the absence of a quorum. Would the members please make their way down to the Senate floor for our noon session? We have some very special people here. We don't want to keep them waiting. All senators to the floor for our noon session. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgioni, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Latta, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Stone, Vidak, Wykowski, Wolk.
Colleagues, a quorum is present. Would the members and our guests beyond the rail in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this afternoon by our chaplain, Sister Michelle Gorman, after which please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag by Senator Wolk.
Let us center ourselves in God's presence. Today, as former women senators are welcomed back to the state capitol, the words of poet David White come to mind. There is no house like the house of belonging. Gracious and loving God, as we review the history of women's efforts to win acceptance and belonging in the great work of government, we are grateful that these women senators listened to the voice of their desires when they could have settled for something safe, that they stepped out in the dignity of their calling to share their gifts for the common good, that they crossed thresholds of fear and ambiguity, opening pathways for others to follow. May their belonging in this house we call the Senate witness to the world our ongoing evolution into the frontiers of freedom, inclusivity, and equality. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Colleagues, if we could come to order, please. It's a problem with a rowdy bunch of women. Colleagues, if we could please come to order. We are under privileges of the floor. Privileges of the floor. Senator Bates.
Thank you, Madam President. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce some parents and students. Certainly, I share them with my esteemed colleagues, Senator Anderson. They're from the Roger Rowe Elementary School in Rancho Santa Fe.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Bates. Senator McGuire, is Senator McGuire here? Do you wish to take up your item? At Senator De Leon's desk, without objection. Senator McGuire at Senator De Leon's desk.
We are moving one more over.
Very good. Senator McGuire.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and good Monday, colleagues. It is my honor to welcome Leslie Scopes Anderson from the beautiful town of Arcata and congratulate her on winning the 2014 Wildlife Photo of the Year contest. This year, more than 200 images were submitted to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife as part of the contest. And Miss Anderson's gorgeous seagull photo right here, interacting with three elegant terns, and they have a heck of a hairdo, won the grand prize. Leslie knew from her time, from the time she received her first camera at age 12, that she wanted to be a photographer. She's always had a love of the outdoors, and she's now turned her passion into a career. 10 years ago, Leslie sold her advertising agency and moved to the great state of California, where she became an interpretive naturalist and focuses on photographing birds and other wildlife with her husband, Mike, who is also here today from Arcata. Her photos have been recognized not just this year, but groups like the Nature Conservancy, National Audubon, and National Geographic. You can view all of Leslie's grand prize winning images outside the governor's office all week. And I'd like to be able to take a brief moment, and if we can give her a round of applause for winning the 2014 Wildlife Photo of the Year contest.
Congratulations. Let's take a photo of that beautiful photo. And if we could also, before we start recognizing the former women senators, we do have with us today, poaching, Senator Byron Scherer. I'm sure we're all delighted to see him. As Senator Scherer, if you would welcome our former colleague, the great Senator Byron Scherer is here with us today.
Okay. So you're presenting, and then you're coming right back. Don't worry, she's coming right back. Under privileges of the floor, recognizing Senator Jackson. Senator Jackson.
Thank you, Madam President. It's an honor to have with me today Gay Jones and theater students and educators from my district. Unusual that we find people from the 19th Senate District who can actually get here from there. But today we have a number of students here from Ojai for the 18th Annual California Youth in Theater Day. Tomorrow, March 17th, to some it's known as St. Patrick's Day or Ellery Rose's second birthday. More than 300 theater students, educators, friends, and administrators from schools throughout the state will gather in the Capitol to perform their prize-winning monologues, scenes, songs, and dances. The California Youth in Theater Day and the California Educational Theater Association is working to improve the quality of theater education and to develop and enhance the talent and promise of student performers across the state. Now, we know that California is the home of the entertainment industry, but just to give you a little capsule of what that means to this state in terms of economic development, just in the county of Los Angeles alone, the entertainment industry accounts for more than 162,000 wage and salary jobs, and an additional 85,000 jobs for freelancers and independent contractors. When you take into account the ripple effect it has on other jobs, the industry supports 586,000 jobs and has an annual output of over $47 billion. That's equivalent to 8.4% of that county's annual economic output. Now, on a more personal note, students involved in drama performance coursework or experience outscored non-art students on the 2005 SAT by an average of 65 points in the verbal component and 34 points in the math component. Drama activities, without a doubt, improve reading comprehension and both the verbal and nonverbal communication skills that are so critical in today's world. It also helps improve school attendance and reduce high school dropout rates. I could go on and on about it, but when you think about it, it fits the old adage that if you keep our young people busy, we keep them out of trouble. And here, we're creating a pipeline for them to get into the artistic world, and if nothing else, to be able to communicate better with each other. This is a win-win for us all, and it's something that I think we can all share and enjoy as they move forward. And Gay Jones, who founded this organization, is shaking her head in the affirmative and probably telling me that I've got too many lines in this production so that I should stop. Now listen, folks, this is for tomorrow. Tomorrow, legislators and staff that are interested in attending, tomorrow at 9 a.m., the students are going to go out on the West Side steps and sing, "There's no business like show business." We know that here in this hall. We do this a little ourselves, but we're going to hear some great voices singing to us, and at 9:15 there will be a spoken word piece performed in the basement rotunda. So without further ado, I'm going to present to Gay Jones, who founded this theater 18 years ago, and since 1996, there have been more than 3,000 students who have come to Sacramento to share the arts with us. Would you please join me in thanking them for being here and give them a warm round of applause.
Thank you very much, Senator Jackson. Senator Nielsen, for what purpose do you rise?
Madam President, a purpose of an introduction. May I introduce to the Senate Katie Martin. Katie Martin has gone through elementary school, high school, and college with our three sons. She's a regular visitor to our house, has wonderful conversations, highly intellectual, and she's interested in government, and she's here today following us around. She couldn't have come at a better day for honoring women.
Thank you very much and welcome. Senator Jackson, for what purpose do you rise?
Yes, thank you for, under personal privilege, I would like to introduce my spouse, my husband, George Eskin, who is sitting in the back of the room patiently wondering if I'm ever going to shut up. My husband, George Eskin.
Welcome and thank you. Senator De Leon, for what purpose do you rise?
Point of personal privilege, Madam President, as well as colleagues. If I can get all our colleagues' attention, Madam President, as well as members. Today, I have the humble opportunity to introduce very special guests back to the State Senate. Today, we will be rededicating the Roseanne Vuitch Hearing Room 240, in honor of the 42 trailblazing women senators who have served in the California State Senate. With us today are Senators Didi Alpert, Senator Elaine Alquist, Senator Ellen Corbett, Senator Denise Ducheney, Senator Noreen Evans, Senator Liz Figueroa, who also is the first Salvadoran American to ever be an elected official in the California State Legislature as well. We also have with us today is Senator Sharon Runner. Senator Christine Kehoe. And with us, Madam Ambassador, Madam Congresswoman, but first and foremost, Madam State Senator, and the first African-American woman to ever be a state senator in the history of the California Legislature, Madam Ambassador, Madam State Senator Diane Watson. Now, we are very happy that they were able to attend today's special rededication, but also like to recognize all of the women senators who have served in the California State Senate. Marian Bergensen, Martha Scutia, Teresa Hughes, Benny Carnett, Lucy Calea, Sheila Kuehl, Barbara Lee, Carol Migden, Rebecca Morgan, Jenny Oropesa, Deborah Ortiz, Gloria Romero, Hilda Solis, Nel Soto, Jackie Spear, Norma Torres, Roseanne Vuitch, Mimi Walters, Patricia Wiggins, and Kathy Wright. And, of course, Madam Senator, as well as colleagues, those serving today. That is Patricia Bates, Jean Fuller, Kathleen Galgiani, Lonnie Hancock, Hannah Beth Jackson, Connie Leyva, Carol Liu, Holly Mitchell, Janet Nguyen, Fran Pavley, and Lois Wolk. All of these women have accomplished great things for the people of California. They devoted their careers to fighting poverty, promoting education equity, tackling climate change and environmental degradation, strengthening the safety net, reducing recidivism, advocating for homeowner rights, privacy protections, minority and LGBT rights, healthcare access, governmental oversight, and dozens of other issues. Now, these 42 women exemplify public service, and each of their careers is indicative of advancements towards gender equality. Now, to provide some context for how far we have come, you need to only look back 39 years. 39 years when Roseanne Vuitch was elected as the first female senator in 1976. It took 65 years. 65 years after women won the right to vote in California in 1911. Women of California won that right through struggle back in 1911. And still then, it took 65 years to elect the first woman senator back in 1976, and that is Senator Roseanne Vuitch. Now, after 127 years, 127 years after the establishment of the state Senate in 1849, for women to actually be represented in this prestigious august body. Now, Senator Vuitch, an unassuming woman from the Central Valley, defeated an incumbent assemblyman, to the surprise of many. She paved the way for all the women who have followed in her footsteps, one bell ring at a time. Now, you see, Senator Vuitch would keep this bell, this very same bell, at her desk, and she would ring it whenever her fellow senators would address the collective members of the Senate as gentlemen. So each time when the presiding officer, a male, would address his colleagues on this august body as gentlemen, she would get up and she would ring this bell as a very clear reminder, as a very powerfully symbolic reminder that it is not a body of just men, but it is a body of a very powerful woman, a trailblazer in Roseanne Vuitch. And again, she was a woman who set the pathway as a reminder that the chamber, again, was no longer exclusively male. Now, before her election in 1976, there was very little diversity in the state legislature. The vast majority of members were white males with only a handful of people of color serving as senators. And again, it took 127 years for women to be represented in this body. As shameful as that historical fact may be, we are thankful for all of the women senators who have since then served this great house. These individuals and their accomplishments are proof of why we must strive for a body that is truly representative of the people it serves. These women, irrespective of their political affiliation, serve as a role model for girls and women across the state. And that is why, I'm proud to announce, that's Roseanne right there. And that's why I'm proud to announce the Roseanne Vuitch hearing room will now feature the pictures of all the great women senators who have served in this chamber. Room 2040 will be a reminder of their important contributions to this state, but also of the need to progress towards a more inclusive body. Senators, Madam Senators, for those who took the time to grace us with your presence, to come up to the state capitol, your state capitol, where you led this body with trailblazing legislative policy, we thank you. We thank you for coming today to rededicate Roseanne Vuitch Room. For those who could not attend today, we thank you. And to the women senators present here today, we thank you for what you do every single day in moving forward policy that has an impact, a great impact on all individuals, but especially being a role model to young girls and women across the state of California. So colleagues, I ask you immediately after our floor session, if you could please join us, room 2040. We will rededicate Roseanne Vuitch Room. We'll have the pictures as a powerful reminder of the women who came before those here today and the women who are present today, and a future call for all other young women who one day aspire to be state senators. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed senators back to their home, the California State Senate.
Welcome, welcome to our colleagues, our mentors, our friends. Senator Fuller.
I'd like to add on just a moment. First, I'd like to thank our pro tem, Kevin De Leon. This is very meaningful for all of us. It's a moment we can all share together and feel very proud and successful. But the first thing that I would also like to say is that as the first Senate Republican woman-elect, I'm very, very pleased. I could not pass up this moment to say to all of you we've all been friends somewhere along the way on the Women's Caucus comeback meetings. You've been great mentors. We've had a lot to learn from each other on our dinners in the evenings, our super dinners that we had. We've learned a lot. We've had a lot of debate. And I'm very, very pleased today to be able to be here and honor you. And I'm very pleased that our pro tem has taken the time to put the pictures up in the Roseanne Vuitch room. In addition, though, I'd like to call attention that in the 1980s, there were 13 female legislators. In the 1990s, there was also strong representation with 41 female legislators. In the 2000s, we hit a high of 42 female legislators. And currently, there are 30 female legislators. So, women, you're out there. We need to keep working. And the shining light that you brought us to at this point, we need to make it shine a little brighter. Also, I'd like to make note that Senator Marian Bergleson was the first woman to serve in both the California State Assembly and the California State Senate. She was a member from 1978 to 1995 and represented Orange County. So thank you for bringing us forward, and I think we're going to all benefit from spending some time with each other today and hopefully in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Fuller. Senator Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise as a member of the California Legislative Black Caucus to acknowledge once again the significance of State Senator Diane Watson. Not only was she the first black woman elected to the Senate, but she is the longest serving woman to have served in the Senate from 1979 to 1998. And in our numerous debates here on the floor, when we debate Title IX or my seatmates' discussion around the value of arts education for young women in particular, we talk about the importance of role models. And I have to say, as a native Angelino growing up in Los Angeles, to see a woman of my similar height who was taking the world by storm, it was an amazing opportunity for a young girl from Crenshaw District, Leimert Park, to see the possibilities, So when I looked at the Senate, when I looked at the composition of the Senate, to see someone who looked like me, as young women experience today when they're here in the gallery, we all know that we are living role models. You never know when your mere presence here can spark an interest and motivate a young woman, specifically through this month, Women's History Month, to absolutely reach for the stars. So Senator Watson, on behalf of Black Caucus, we acknowledge you. Not only were you the first, you are the grand dame of the Senate, having been the longest serving woman senator.
Thank you very much, Senator Mitchell.